Hey! How we doing, guys?
How's it going, everyone?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hope everybody's having a fantastic. What is today?
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
No, it's Tuesday. You're going if it was Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Hope everybody's having a terrific Tuesday night.
There you go.
So, anything new?
No, nothing new.
Nothing new?
Nothing new at all.
Looks like a new setup we got here.
It's a little odd, right?
A little odd, right? Yeah.
He's on the wrong side.
On the wrong side. Yeah, I am on the wrong side. That's the problem. Throwing me all off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. We'll make it work.
We're on the right side in real life.
In real life, we are. Yes. Camera's got everything backwards. Who we got here with us tonight? We got Jim. Greetings, Mr. Largo.
Working on our playlists. All right. Awesome.
All right. Cobb.
Waking up from a nap. Good morning.
More.
How's the audio sound? Is it okay?
Cobb's burning too much midnight oil making all those He-Man YouTube videos. What's he say? I can't see that far away. You know that.
Where's Tonto?
Where's Tonto? He's out taking care of the horses.
I said, don't drink all of that, man. God.
I got a 12-pack left. 6-pack left. I'm good. Tastes good.
Good here. All right. Good.
All right. Thanks, Cobb.
Hey, Ted. All right.
All right. So, I didn't get anything this week. Did you get anything new this week? Oh, wait, we did.
What do we got?
You got sounds.
We got Fei Long.
Yes, you got Fei Long from and him over there.
Oh yeah. This is sick.
You got Fei Long from the Hella Dope Boys.
Pretty awesome. I posted some pictures on Instagram.
Yep.
But we also got this from Walmart.
Zombie Superman.
Vampires.
Vampire Superman. Okay.
Move your head.
Is it not focusing?
Yeah, because put your hand in front of your face. There you go. Isn't that sick?
Pretty cool. We still haven't figured out how Superman got bit by a vampire, but
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense, honestly.
we didn't write the comic book or make the figure, but we thought it was cool, so we bought it. But other than that, I haven't picked anything up because I've been trying to save my buying for anything awesome at PowerCon.
Whoa!
And
Almost knocked everything
every day I see more and more cool stuff, like the video that Mr. Vala posted the other day with all of his new Action Force stuff that he's bringing to PowerCon. So
Everyone's just saying hi to each other, I think.
all right.
Yeah, the computer's a little far away, so I can't read it. So yeah,
Well,
I might be like
probably
this
read it with
sometimes.
without the sunglasses on.
No, it doesn't
I
help.
can't read it at all because I'm old.
You are old. That's okay though. I need the sunglasses on. It's part of my brand.
That's your brand.
Mm-hmm. Sunglasses and a hat. All right.
What's your theme song? I wear my sunglasses at night, or is something different? You know, I wear my sunglasses at night. That song? Or is it when you're cool, the sun shines on you 24 hours a day? Did you freeze? I think your screen froze. All right, well, Luke froze. He's trying not to smile, but we'll see how long he can last without smiling. Yeah, there it comes.
I've been smiling literally this whole time.
All right, so tonight we are talking about sea monsters, lake monsters, and the sorts.
And manicotti, my favorite type of pasta.
I guess manicotti also, so let's start there. Why do you
Fire
like-
and ice figures were a nice surprise.
Yes, looking forward to the fire and ice figures.
Me
for sure.
too. Exactly what we're talking
I also saw today that Fresh Monkey Fiction is going to be releasing a line of space figures in 1/12 to go along with their Monster Hunters. These are going to be called Voyagers or Explorers or something like that. Those look pretty cool. They're going to be showing some of them off at PowerCon, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Okay, you're supposed to be sitting down telling us about manicotti.
I had to assassinate you.
In case anybody wonders, yes, he does have ADHD.
Not, you're lying. Anyway, manicotti is pretty good. It's my favorite pasta, especially
Why?
when there's Parmesan cheese on it. I like the taste.
Doesn't
Sauce,
all pasta
Parmesan
taste the same?
No,
What does manicotti taste like?
you're getting your Italian license revoked. What?
I'm more Irish than I am Italian.
By the way, I'm drinking cream soda.
And I'm drinking Angry Orchard. All right.
Cream soda tastes better than Angry Orchard, I'm sure. What is Lago saying?
I don't know. I can't read that far away.
You already said it. We already read that. All right. So I think we start with our script. He actually did work and got notes this time, unlike usual. Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff. That whole Monster Hunter line is going to be awesome. They got that Sasquatch figure they're making, which is based on the same body as that
The bear.
Fury Toys bear.
Yeah.
And they got all the monsters, and then they got the zombified or monsterfied soldiers, and then Van Helsing. That line's going to be awesome.
That those guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
That line's going to be awesome. And then then those Space Voyagers, they only showed outline of a figure, but if it's anything that's designed as cool as their Monster Force stuff, I'm definitely going to be interested in that. So hopefully they'll have more than just the one at PowerCon, so I can check out the samples.
All right. So moving on into our topic for the day.
All right, so manicotti.
Sea monsters.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about pasta.
We would never.
There's a monster in the Crick.
There's a monster in the Crick. So, what's your favorite sea monster?
My favorite sea monster? I would have to say probably...
Whoa.
It'd be a toss-up between Leviathan and Kraken.
It's very interesting.
The lake monsters are cool, but like all of the mythology and history behind like the Leviathan and the Kraken, I mean, they could end up essentially be the same, but you don't know. But
mine's the brown one that comes out of the toilet.
That's your favorite sea monster?
Yeah.
He comes out of the toilet?
Yeah, Loch Ness Monster. He comes out and tries to kill me. It's scary.
I did a brief history of sea monsters in general.
All right, I'll read a brief history of sea monsters. I did
some research on
readings.
this.
This is really interesting. Sea monsters are beings from folklore believed to dwell in the sea, often imagined to be immense size. Marine monsters can take many forms, including sea dragons, sea serpents, or tentacled beasts. They can be slimy and scaly and are often pictured threatening ships or spouting jets of water. The definition of a monster is subjective. Further, some sea monsters may have been based on scientifically accepted creatures, such as whales and types of giant or colossal squid. Sea monsters Sea monster accounts are found in virtually all cultures that have contact with the sea. For example, Aviennius relates of Carthaginian explorer Himilco voyage. Their monsters are of the deep, and beasts swim amid the slow and sluggishly crawling ships. From Ora Maritama. Sir Humphrey Gilbert claimed to have an encounter with a lion-like sea monster with glaring eyes on his return voyage after formally claiming St. John's, Newfoundland for Fort England. Another account of an encounter with a sea monster comes from July 1734. Hans Edge, a Dano-Norwegian missionary, reported that on a voyage up to Godthub on the western coast of Greenland, he observed the Loch Ness Monster.
Not the Loch Ness Monster.
All right, so that's a good segue into a creature.
Right, first of all, let's say hi to Thanos.
Aloha, Thanos.
Copter showed up.
Good evening.
How you doing, Thanos?
Need a Loch Ness Monster for the AT-76.
Yes. We got sea
monkeys.
monkeys, yes.
I used to have some. All right. Loch Ness Monster. So, would you like a brief history of the Loch Ness Monster that you definitely don't know about and we're the one who wrote all his notes?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'd love to hear more about the Loch Ness Monster. So, where does the Loch Ness Monster live?
Scotland.
Oh.
In Loch Ness.
Oh, okay.
And Loch just means lake.
Yes.
Okay. So, the Loch Ness Monster is a mythical animal that allegedly lives in Loch Ness, a freshwater lake near Inverness, Scotland. Although accounts Inverness. Although accounts of an aquatic beast living in the lake date back to 1,500 years ago, all efforts to find any credible evidence of the animal have failed. That hasn't dampened the public's enthusiasm. However, for any news about Nessie, Loch Ness loaded. What does that even mean?
What?
For any news about Nessie, that's just the end of the sentence.
I don't know. I must have missed something.
Okay, well, Loch Ness, located in Scottish Highlands, has the largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain. The body of water reaches a depth of nearly 800 feet and a length of about 23 miles. That's a lot.
That's a big lake.
Lot of water.
800 feet.
800 feet and 23 miles.
Wow.
Scholars of Loch Ness monster find a dozen references to Nessie in Scottish history, dating back to around 500 AD. When local Picts, which is it's a type of people, the Celtic people, before the Celts actually, pre-Celt, they lived there before the Celtic people. They drew these symbols. They're really cool. Actually, you should do some research on the Pictish symbols. They're really interesting. Arrows and boars and stuff. They carved them into rocks. Local Picts carved a strange aquatic creature into standing stones. Wow, I just predicted the text. Near Loch Ness. The earliest written reference to a monster in Loch Ness is the 7th century biography of Saint Columba, the Irish missionary who introduced Christianity to Scotland. In AD 565, which is 65 years after the Picts, according to the biographer, Saint Columba was on his way to visit the king of the northern Picts near Inverness when he stopped at Loch Ness to confront a beast that had been killing people in a lake.
Very cool.
Isn't that interesting?
What's your thoughts on Loch Ness?
I think it's my favorite of the lake monsters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I grew up just thinking about Loch Ness. You know, everybody kind of knows about Loch Ness, but it's just the one thing that it's probably one of the main cryptids of when I was a kid that I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And I watched a bunch of shows on it.
Yeah. Did Josh go after that one?
Josh went after.
Yeah.
Josh if he didn't, that'd be great.
Yeah. What did they say?
He's just saying, doing
good.
good.
Everybody's saying hi to each other.
Just saying hi to each other.
All right.
What's your thoughts on Loch Ness? What's your thoughts on Loch Ness, like? I can't do a Scottish accent.
No, you can't.
Donkey.
Ogres have layers. Anyway, I think that Loch Ness is something that could potentially be legit, or at least was a lot longer than it should have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not anymore, but up until recent history, the last 100 years, it probably was there. I mean, there's lots of caves and everything else that run around underneath the islands and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's nothing saying that it can't get out to open waters through some tunnel system, right? And on top of that, with it being 800 feet deep and 23 miles across in some places, I mean, that's a big lake. Chances of you actually seeing it are like trying to find Bigfoot in the, Northwest forest.
Exactly.
It's just too vast of an area. And if it's been around for a while, here's a motor from a boat, it's not going to stick around and,
scary.
It's going to go hang out.
I don't know about this picture, though. I think this picture might just be like an elephant with its trunk sticking out of the water.
Well, I heard a theory on what this picture is actually of. Do you want to hear it?
A whale penis?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a whale penis.
Yep, because when whales are mating, they stick their penises out of the water. And
there's no whales in Loch Ness, though. So,
but there's no proof that this was actually taking in Loch Ness. That's the problem. The only thing I will argue is that it's certainly not a log, right? There's no way that could be a log.
All right. On to Lake Champlain, I guess.
Anybody got anything to ask about Loch Ness or any opinions?
Any questions about Loch Ness?
So the fact that, I'll wait till the end to make this comment, but go ahead.
Okay, ready? If I can find the cursor. There it is.
Champ
From Lake Champlain.
One of the Great Lakes of North America, United States.
Lake Champlain is the Adirondacks' largest lake, providing the perfect playground for boating, fishing, water sports, and lake monsters. That's right, lake monsters. For centuries, legends and alleged sightings of an enormous swimming monster has captured the imagination of locals, visitors, and even scholars. Scholars, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Scholars. That's weird. Why would they care? In the beginning, the indigenous people that have long lived and hunted near Lake Champlain, the Abenaki and the Iroquois, have their own legends about a large creature inhabiting the lake, which looked like a large horned serpent or giant snake. The Abenaki term for this creature was Geekskok.
What was that? What was that?
Geekskok.
Geekskok?
Yes.
Are you Scottish again? That
No,
didn't sound very Indian.
That's Native American.
You got to say it like
Geekskok.
like an Iroquois.
Geekskok.
There you go.
Whoa.
Much better.
Whoa. White man come from boat.
Yes.
I see sea monster in lake. Early 18th century,
You
Abenakis.
sounded like the Indians on Bugs Bunny just then.
Thank you. I know.
All right, did a good job.
Abenakis warned French explorers about disturbing the waters of the lake so as not to disturb the serpent. Samuel de Champlain, whom the lake was named after, is often erroneously credited with being.
Erroneously.
That's not a real word.
Yes, erroneously.
Erroneously. It's not a real word. Credited.
That's a real word. Erroneously is not a real word.
You said erroneously. That's what you said. You just said that. I said erroneous.
Erroneously.
Erroneously. Credited with being the first European to sight Champ. But readings of his accounts show that he saw something near the St. Lawrence River. Nevertheless, his accounts of sighting is of interest to anyone with an interest in lake monsters.
Yeah, so
I don't know anything about Champ.
So Champ has been around for a long time, as the research says, but like he really didn't become too much in the like the forefront until I think it was 2000 or 2000, somewhere between 2000 and 2005. There was a reported sighting of him, right? And then of course, like Josh didn't go look for him, Josh Gates, but like other investigators didn't find anything. But supposedly Champ is similar to Nessie, but Nessie is more like a pliosaur, whereas Champ is considered to be more of a like a serpent type creature.
Huh.
So Champ would be more like the old creatures you saw, more like a little smaller Leviathan.
Like
right?
a dinosaur?
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur.
Yep.
It's just a living dinosaur.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
And we got anything to say? I can't see.
No.
No? Okay.
All right. Moving on. Lots of lake monsters here.
Yeah.
Bessie. Now, I've never heard of Bessie in my entire life. But here's some information about Bessie. In northeastern Ohio and Michigan folklore, Bessie is the name given to a lake monster in Lake Erie, also known as South Bay Bessie, or simply the Lake Erie Monster. The first recorded sighting of Bessie occurred in 1817, and more sightings have occurred intermittently and in greater frequency in the last 3 decades. Bessie is reported to be a snake-like and 30 to 40 feet, 9.1 to 12.2 meters long, at least a foot in diameter with a grayish color. While shooting ducks north of Sandusky, Ohio in 1793, the captain of the sloop Felicity startled a large creature, snake, described as more than a rod, 16.5 feet in length. In July 1817, the crew of the schooner reported a 40 to 30 foot long serpent in the dark color. Later that year, another boat crew spotted a similar animal, this time copper-colored and 60 feet in length. This time, they shot at it with muskets, with no visible effect.
So interesting story about Bessie.
Yes.
Bessie, and this is one of the things that make it kind of hard to believe now, right? Like I said, these creatures might have existed up until recent history, but Bessie in Lake Erie mythology is considered to be very serpent-like, just a really long, like a Titan boa, right? Mm-hmm. Which a Titan boa is basically just the mythological boa constrictors that live in the Amazon that are humongous. But in Lake Superior, it's also known as Bessie, and it's a pliosaur like in the picture. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
What if it's two different creatures?
It could be, but they're both named the same because the lakes connect, so they think that it's traveling from one lake to the other.
What if they fight each other?
Like Dino Battle?
Like Batman versus Superman, but with dinosaurs. That'd be a cool movie.
Martha?
Martha?
Why did you say that name?
Why would you say that name?
Why would you say that name?
Martha! Okay. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
So, I mean, like, depending on how long this thing's actual neck is, right? I mean, it could have a 16-foot long neck. I mean, what was it? The Brontosaurus and the Apatosaurus and the what was the other? Brachiosaurus. What was the other long neck on them? There's another one.
Long Neckosaurus.
Yeah, long neckosaurus. So anyway, depending on what they
It's a
actually,
Brontosaurus.
yes, Brontosaurus. Depending on what they were actually seeing, they might have just been seeing like its neck, right, in the head, and they think it was just this long serpent.
Yeah.
When the rest of its body was really under the water. So the creatures could be one and the same, or it's two different creatures, but they call it the same because in lore they believe it's traveling from one lake to the other.
Or there could be dino battles, and they could be two different things.
Yeah.
They fight each other.
Yeah. I mean, they would definitely, if it's just a small group of the one and a small group of the other, they would definitely, and they were actually traveling from lake to lake, they would definitely be fighting over a food source. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, something that big is not just eating minnows off the side of the, not
They're
living off the tadpoles. It's living off the big fish.
They're eating people.
Yeah, swimmers.
Yep. Just
So
like
if you
me.
ever go swimming in Lake Champlain or Lake Superior or in Lake Erie and you end up going missing, we'll know what happened to you.
I ate you. All right. Up next. Everybody's favorite.
The Kraken.
The Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
Would you like to know more about the Kraken?
I would love to hear more about the Kraken. While you're reading, I'm going to go grab another beer.
Okay.
Do you need another beer?
No, I'm good.
All right.
But, all right. The Kraken. The Kraken is a legendary sea monster of enormous size said to appear in the sea between Norway and Iceland. Kraken, the subject of sailors' superstitions and mythos, was first described in the modern era in a travelogue by Francesco Negri. In 1700, this description was followed in 1734 by an account of Dano-Norwegian missionary and explorer Hans Edge. He comes back. He was wait a minute. He talked about something.
He was the one in the original Sea Monsters.
No.
Yeah.
No, he was talking about something before. Where was he?
Who?
Hans Edge. Sir Humphrey. Newfoundland. Hans Edge. Another account of an encounter with a sea monster comes from July 1734.
Yeah.
Hans Edge, a Dano-Norwegian, reported on a voyage to Gotha on the western coast of Greenland.
Yeah, that was in the summary of Sea Monsters, as I said.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is this the one?
Yeah. That's his account.
So the account that we were talking about earlier, interesting account.
I did my research, dude.
Who described the Kraken in detail and equated it to the Hafgufa of medieval lore. However, the first description of the creature is usually credited to the Norwegian bishop Pontoppidan, 1753. Pontoppidan was the first to describe the Kraken as an octopus, a polypus of tremendous size, and wrote that he had a reputation for pulling down ships. The French malacologist Denis Montfort of the 19th century is also known for his pioneering inquiries into the existence of a giant octopus. What is Ted saying? And Largo. It's actually Largo. I can't see. Not to be confused with Redneckosaurus. Exactly. Very true.
That's what the monster is that Action Crick is called. He's Redneckosaurus.
Yes. So, what's your thoughts on the Kraken?
So the Kraken, I really like the mythology around the Kraken. They've had him in plenty of movies, right? I mean, he was basically in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was in the Clash of the Titans.
The Pirates VeggieTales.
He was in the Pirates VeggieTales.
He's on the TV screen right now. What movie is that?
Yep, that was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So I really like the Kraken. To me, it's not just a giant octopus, but I think it closely resembles that, right? But I think the way they portrayed it in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where it came up and just yanked the ship down, that was a pretty cool way to represent that creature. I'm sure if it does exist still, it stays in places like the Mariana Trench, in the deep parts, right?
The Marinara Trench.
Yeah, the Marinara Trench with its manicotti.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I heard that. There's ghosts.
Somebody just said, "Hey,
Ah.
yeah, straight up."
Also, I've got money for the Fallout when it's time.
Well, we'll have to do a ghost hunt next.
For me, I find it really interesting that the Kraken is actually technically real because they found colossal squids, which are like 20 feet long or something, right?
Yeah.
So think about if that's how big colossal squids are, and that's only what we found where we've been able to actually search in the ocean. Imagine how big squids or polypus can get.
Yeah.
Like there could be ginormous octopuses.
Well, I mean, yeah, you think about the fact that we've only explored, what do they say, 30% of the ocean or 10% of the ocean?
5% of the ocean.
Something like that. And if this creature does exist, it's existing in the deepest parts, right? And like history has shown us that the whales that used to be in the waters, like Moby Dick is based on, were gigantic compared to the whales that are in the ocean today, right?
Yeah.
And we've just hunted them to extinction. So there's nothing saying that, there's different sizes of this type of creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Kraken was probably actually more than just one beast. They just named it the Kraken.
Yeah, it's just a species of ginormous octopuses.
But yeah, I really liked the Pirates of the Caribbean portrayal of it, where it came up and like yanked the ship down in half.
Sounds delicious. I agree. The Marinara Trench with the manicotti monster is delicious. All right.
Now, something else that's delicious, and you can make a ton of it if you actually got a Kraken, is barbecued octopus. There's this restaurant.
Calamari?
No, barbecued octopus. When I went to that Zorba's Greek restaurant in Baltimore, Maryland.
Speaking of Greek,
anybody going to Baltimore, Maryland, and you go to want Greek food, there's a restaurant called Zorba's, and they have the most amazing food. And they had barbecued octopus. I don't even like octopus, but I ate like a whole plate of that stuff, and it was delish.
I bet.
Probably not as good as the Marinara Trench filled with manicotti, but
I think it's
throw a little Parmesan trees on there.
Parmesan trees.
Yeah.
The Parmesan trees grow in the Marinara Trench. That's really interesting.
It's the only place they grow.
It's the only place they go. They're native to the Marinara Trench. Yep. Parmesan trees.
Parmesan trees. That's how the manicotti gets its flavor.
Yeah. Speaking of Greek, perfect segue if I can find the cursor again.
Your segues are slow.
Speaking of Greek, sirens.
I'll let you run this one too. You don't have to read the notes. You know everything about it.
I don't actually. Okay. Ready? N. That's just an N. You forgot the I. In Greek mythology, sirens, ancient Greek singular, Syrian, plural, Sirines, are human-like beings with alluring voices. They appear in a scene in the Odyssey in which Odysseus saves his crew's lives. Roman poets place them on the small islands called Serenium Scopuli. In some later rationalized traditions, the literal geography of the flowery islands of Antimusa or Antimusa is fixed sometimes on Cape Pelona, and at others on the islands known as Cyrensus, near Paestum and Capri. All such locations were surrounded by cliffs and rocks. Sirens continued to be used as a symbol for dangerous temptation embodied by women, regularly through Christian art of the medieval era. It's a very base layer level of information for sirens.
Because you said you knew everything about them, so I didn't go too deep.
I don't think I've ever said that in my entire life.
You said sirens were your favorite.
They are, but I don't know everything about them.
So there's this song about on the Irish rock station I listen to. Talks about how you should never fall in love with a mermaid.
Yeah.
And it talks about how he falls in love with one and he can never have any fun because their bottom half was a fish, and then she left him, and then he fell in love with her sister, and her top half was a fish and her bottom part was a girl. I don't really know if I can buy the whole mermaid thing. What's your thoughts?
Why not?
I mean, could it possibly happen? Yes, but that's really pushing it, I think.
Well,
let's ask the chat. What does the chat think about the thought of mermaids really existing, or is it really just folklore? Or
My
is it a bunch
idea-
of drunken pirates?
that's what I was gonna say. I think pirates and like old sailors just were out on the ocean for way too long and started hallucinating.
It's very possible, right? Plus, they were a lot of them were sick.
Yeah.
A lot of them had.
But the idea of sirens in mythology is that, well, not in this mythology, but in some mythologies, sirens are just they're a type of creature like cryptid that can shapeshift into whatever your deepest desire is.
Right.
So all these sailors,
Which is the whole point of the siren, right?
yeah,
The siren was actually like it's
drawing you into your death.
It's pleasant voice and appearance of being a human female lured sailors to their death, and then they would just eat them, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was the purpose of it, right? And it was probably more stories about why people like basically jumped overboard because they were, sick.
Thanos doesn't believe it. Thanos isn't buying it.
Two different class of animals, and one seems unlikely. Yeah, that's kind of where I am now. If you go to the mythology,
a
though,
lion and tiger put together before. Just
that's
saying.
a feline and a feline.
Okay, I've seen
Not
a
a
horse and a
fish and-
donkey before.
Not a fish and a mammal.
I've seen a platypus before.
The duck-billed platypus.
The duck-billed platypus. That's a bird, a mammal. That's a bird, a beaver, and a reptile all in one.
Yeah, and it lays eggs.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would have to say that mermaids, I would say no. But now, if you take a look at, like you were saying with the mythology, right? There's some mythology where they're basically just a creature, but can shapeshift into being the appearance of a beautiful woman to lure sailors to their death. I could buy that.
I don't know. Maybe mermaids are real because
that one, what was that creature that Josh went and looked at that was like a fish creature? Remember? But it was like a humanoid fish-looking thing, but it was like a mermaid, but it wasn't a mermaid.
It's a siren.
Was it?
It's a siren.
Oh, okay. But it was all a monster, right? It was all green, but it could lure its people in.
Maybe it's just a human that like didn't completely leave the water.
Possibly, right? I mean, evolution story tells us that we walked out of the water as a fish, and then started walking around on land, which
maybe it's a mystical kind of spirit thing, right? Rather than being a living animal.
What's is that Thanos who said that long one, or was that one we read? They were just having sex with large fish having the water. They probably were.
That's probably what happened.
Why is the rum always gone, man? That's why.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
There's someone into Allison somewhere.
There she is. That's Allison Troy. She's the one that does all the
drawings,
the coloring. Yes. Hello, Crick dwellers. Hello, Allison.
All right. Well, yeah, that's about sirens. Any questions, comments?
No,
concerns?
but what's your thought on it?
I already said.
But I didn't really pay attention.
I think it's 100% possible.
You think it's 100% possible?
Yeah. I think everything's possible.
Yes.
Is it real? I don't care because I like to have the imagination that it possibly could be.
It
doesn't matter in the end.
I'm more apt to believe that it's a monster that can shapeshift or something
like an
that.
octopus.
Right. Yeah.
You ever seen an octopus shapeshift? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Octopi are so intelligent.
That's why I don't eat them because I feel like it's inhumane.
Well, I don't normally eat them either, but Zorbas makes them so delicious it's hard to say no.
What if a human was cooked perfectly in a delicious
I'd
way?
probably eat it because
I'd probably eat it too. Yeah.
It's just meat.
It's a human. The Megalodon.
The Meg.
Megalodon. Megalodon. Otodus megalodon, meaning big tooth, is an extinct species of mackerel shark that lived approximately 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Maya. I don't know what that means, but from the early Miocene to the Pliocene epochs, it's formally thought to be a member of the family of Lamnidae and is close relatives with the great white shark, Carcharodon carchiacus. However, it is now classified into the extinct family Otodontinae, which diverged from the great white shark during the early Cretaceous period. Interesting. That's all we got on the Megalodon. But there's 2 movies now about it.
2.
2. They made a Meg 2.
They made a Meg 2?
They're making a Meg. It's releasing soon.
Really? I did not know that. Meg was already a movie.
A bad movie. It was bad. It was a bad movie. It wasn't good.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but it was an enjoyable watch. I really like when they end up at the end on the Rainn Wilson ends up on the whale carcass.
I never watched it.
Oh, Rainn Wilson, you know, Dwight from The Office.
I know Dwight.
He's like a rich asshole kind of guy, and of course, you know, the rich assholes always get theirs in the end, right? So he was on a whale carcass, and the megalodon came up and ate him. But lots of water cryptids and
Like
ghosts
the
in Japanese folklore.
We're going to be coming to a Japanese lake monster soon. So,
yep. Rum-soaked sailors making sweet love to manatees.
That's actually that's a theory.
Yep,
that's a real theory. It's crazy. All right, megalodon. Do you know anything else about the megalodon?
Well,
it's my least favorite sea monster because I don't think it's real.
Oh,
I think it's just a big shark.
I agree that I mean the megalodon was real, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a dinosaur.
It's a prehistoric shark. I think what you're seeing now
just big sharks.
Is just sharks that happen to be larger because I mean, you know, there's a lot of fish and those type of animals that will grow to their food source and their environment. So there's nothing saying that one that's living towards the bottom of the ocean that's got more food that it's not battling over with other ones, right?
Just a big shark.
So I mean, it's probably a mega great white is really what it is, not really the megalodon, right? But since you haven't seen it in the Meg, what they ended up doing is they broke through this layer of like sea dust or something. I can't remember what it was.
It was hibernating. And
all the prehistoric animals were down underneath that, right? So it's kind of a cool concept that it wasn't just swimming around in the ocean, right? They let it out, basically. But would it be cool to see a megalodon? Hell yeah, I'd love to see a megalodon. I really like sharks.
Sharks are awesome.
They're not like my favorite animal or anything, but like just seeing them in the way they swim and the move and all that, and like how, you know, a shark always has to be moving forward because it can't stop or won't be able to breathe. Yeah.
Whoa.
Even when they sleep, they're still slowly moving forward.
That sounds like a really bad evolution.
It's something to do with the way their lungs function, that the water has to be flowing in order for their lungs to continue to work.
That's poor evolution.
Yep.
All right. On to the next one. My father's favorite, I'm pretty sure. Leviathan.
Yes.
Leviathan. Would you like to read this one?
No, you're doing a great job.
Okay.
I made this one extra short for you.
Leviathan, aka Leviathan, Hebrew, Romanized.
That sounded kind
Leviathan.
of more Asian than Hebrewish. Not that I know what Hebrew sounds like either, but
it's a sea serpent noted in theology and mythology. It is referred in several books of the Hebrew Bible, including Psalms, the book of Job, the book of Isaiah, the book of Amos, and according to some translations, in the book of Jonah. It is also mentioned in the book of Enoch. That's a forbidden banned book from the Bible that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls in a book. It is also mentioned in the book of Enoch. The Leviathan is often an embodiment of chaos and threatening to eat the damned after their life. In the end, it is annihilated. Christians, theologians, identified Leviathan with the demon of the deadly sin, envy. According to Ophite diagrams, the Leviathan encapsulates the space of the material world. The Leviathan of the book of Job is a reflection of the older Canaanite Lotan, of a primeval monster defeated by God, Baal-Hadad. Parallels to the role of Mesopotamian Tiamat, defeated by Marduk, have long been drawn in comparative mythology, as have been wider comparisons to dragons and world serpents narratives such as Indra slaying Vitra or Thor by slaying Gormengander. Leviathan also figures in the Hebrew Bible as a metaphor for a powerful enemy, notably Babylon, Isaiah 27:1. Some 19th century scholars pragmatically interpreted it as referring to large aquatic creatures such as the crocodile. The word later came to be used as a term for great whale and for some sea monsters in general.
Yes, there are some writings of Moby Dick that call it a Leviathan.
Yes.
Refer to the Moby Dick as a Leviathan.
Leviathan nowadays is just kind of a word for sea monsters, right? Mm-hmm. Or serpents and large sea creatures.
Sea creatures, yeah. That's a pretty badass picture you downloaded. Though,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I thought it kind of looked like the cover for Asia and Heat of the Moment.
Oh yeah. It was the heat of the moment.
That was a serpent that ate our boat.
The heat of the moment.
We all died.
And drowned. Down, 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 down. All right. So the Leviathan, what do you think about it?
I think it's a religious idea that actually represents the evil of the ego and the darkness that was before humanity. I think Leviathan might just represent the waters also, the darkness of the waters. Because the waters upon the waters in the face of the deep. That is the deep. Leviathan is deep in the envy, the sin. It's the darkness of sin.
Yeah. I think the Leviathan monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at like old sailing maps and stuff, all of them had Leviathans drawn on them, right? In different places, right? So the actual sea serpent monster, I think, at least existed at some point in time in our world, right? The Leviathan, I think, was attached to it throughout religious expansion to give people something to fear.
Great song. It is a great song.
It is a great song.
Tiamat found work on the D&D cartoon. Because it's a D&D character.
Yeah.
There's one called like the Death of Tiamat or something. That's a book. I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah. That is a pretty cool picture.
So what do you think about the Leviathan?
I think I just answered.
Yeah,
that.
but you think it's just a religious story, or do you think
Leviathan? This type of Leviathan, I think they're sea serpents. I just don't think that, like the Leviathan idea is a sea serpent.
Right.
What it is. I think they were talking about real sea serpents that they've seen before, though. But like Leviathan is the world eater, pretty much, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think that's what that is.
No.
It's just a sea serpent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if we talk about the sea serpents that pirates and old sailors saw, right?
Yeah.
Those definitely were around, right?
I think so.
There's so many of them in different cultures and stuff, right? Why
Mm-hmm.
would how could you possibly like excuse that away to coincidence, right? But yeah, Leviathan itself in the religious context where it's the world eater and
I think it's just metaphor.
Yep.
All right. Up next, Issy. No picture of Issy, just a nice picture of a lake in Japan. Issy, aka Ishi, is a legendary. Is that Ishi? Okay. Ichi.
Yes, Ishi.
Is a legendary Japanese lake monster said to lurk in the Lake Akita, or on Kyushu Island. It is described as the Saurian, as being, what does that even mean? Being Saurian? Saurian. Saurian? What does that mean?
That's the time.
Oh, Saurian. Being Saurian in appearance.
Pliosaur. Saurian.
How do you know that? Oh, like a dinosaur.
Yeah, Pliosaur.
Okay. It's described to look like a dinosaur. Just say that. God. It kind of looked like a dinosaur.
It looked like a Pliosaur.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah, but that's what Saurian means.
No, it means it looks like a dinosaur.
No, Saurian means Pliosaur.
What is that? Why?
Because the pliosaurs all have a certain look to it, and that's what Saurian calls.
What if it looks like a mosasaur?
Mosasaurs are part of the Saurian.
But that's not a pliosaur.
No.
So you're wrong.
Carry on.
The name is formed.
Anybody need a 17-year-old? I have one for sale.
With Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Sightings. The creature was reportedly photographed in 1978 by a man who went by the name Mr. Matsubara. 20 other people reportedly also saw the creature in 1978, which was described as a black and about 5 meters long, swimming in lake water. In 1991, another visitor to the lake caught a video supposedly of a bizarre-looking creature estimated to be 30 meters long. So it grew.
So Issy. Josh Gates went looking for this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how I know about it.
Yep. And this is one of those that's kind of along the lines of Loch Ness and Bessie and Champ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Possible that it still exists. I have quite a bit of faith that they did exist, at least up until recent times, right? A lot longer than they should have lived in this world, right? Considering what we know about dinosaurs and stuff. But I mean, crocodiles and alligators are still here. Dinosaur turtles are still here, right?
Mhm.
Why not? The thing I was going to make earlier, the comment. It's funny that, like,
So we're not done yet.
we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Oh,
There's
okay.
one more.
There's one more. Okay. But anyway, what do you think about this? Issy.
Issy, I think it's just like every other one, like Loch Ness and Champ and Bessie. About this one though, I don't know, because I'm pretty sure it's a volcanic lake that once blew up. So I feel like we would know that there was something in it if it blew up.
What do you mean it blew up?
Like the whole ground exploded because it was made out of volcano.
Oh, okay. So the whole lake basically boiled over, right?
No, like exploded.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it would have boiled all the water.
Yeah.
So nothing would have lived.
Nothing
through
would have
that.
been alive.
So at one point in time, maybe Issy did exist,
Maybe.
but not.
But
since then.
there's no reports back far enough about it.
Right.
That's another thing. You'd think that we would know more about it.
The problem with ones like
Also, they use this in Kyushu Island at like Akita as like a tourist attraction.
Yeah. The other thing is though, is like when you look at things like Lake Champlain, Lake
It's
Champlain.
a great Lake Champlain. You go
Yep.
there and you just get completely drunk.
Well, that's where you go.
He's kind of completely drunk.
That's where you go after you have marinara in the trench.
Yeah,
with
you go
manicotti.
with the
You go into
Parmesan
Lake
trees.
with the
Parmesan trees with Lake Champlain.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's a nice dinner. You can
Yeah.
just go there.
Loch Ness, Champ, all those, right? Those lakes are kind of closed off other than to other lakes, right?
Mhm.
You can follow a river, of course, and get to an ocean, but like this, there's a good chance that was just a whale or something that came in.
This is a lake.
Yeah, but it's an island. It's a lake on an island, right? There's nothing saying that there's no underwater tunnel if it's a volcanic area.
What about that? Those holes in was it Costa Rica? Those holes in the ground that went in the whole tunnel system.
Yeah, that's where that
Yeah,
giant
with the
octopus or
octopus,
whatever, right? Yeah.
That's an interesting thing we should have put in here.
But that's what I'm saying about this, right? There's nothing saying that this couldn't have gotten off into the ocean,
Yeah.
and then come in, right? Whether it was real and then left to go to the ocean, or if it was just an ocean animal,
Yeah.
and came in, right?
Uh-huh.
Because if you're in a little lake, like there was just recently there was a shark reported in the upstream in the Mississippi River or something,
Mhm.
or one of the rivers down south, and people were like freaking out, but it just
Just one.
migrating, right? And the temperature of the water is just right, and it kept going looking for food. So that's very possible. That's what is now,
Mhm.
right? Maybe it was real, but if the lake did really erupt or boil over from volcanic, the water would have become acidic anyway from a volcanic eruption, so nothing would have lived through there. Okay? So they would definitely know what's in that lake now.
All right.
Why are you rushing?
Lake Liamna.
Next, the right answer to that would have been, I'm not, I'm American. Dad joke.
I'm leaving. I'm never doing this again.
Who's the last one there saying?
Ted Darkclaw.
There's a dad joke for
Gotta
Ted
run,
Darkclaw.
guys. Gotta rest up for packing tomorrow. True. You should be sleeping already.
I'm good, man. I never sleep anyway.
Soria means dino, kind of like Istanbul means is Constantinople. Folks just liked it better that way. See, I was right. You were wrong. I said it was just say dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Just say dinosaur. What
Thanks,
what
Jim.
Said.
You're not supposed to prove the kid right. You're supposed to back me up.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
The first modern reports of something mysterious swimming around Alaska's largest lake started to gain attention in the 1940s. However, Native American legends about mysterious creatures go even further back. According to Crick, the Tlingit people have legend about a water monster named Gonkadekt, which is described as I didn't use my. The Tlingit people have a legend about a water monster named Gonkadekt, which is described as resembling a whale. The Aleutian also had their own monster story about a beast called Jig-Ignog. The interesting thing about this tale is the creature allegedly killed and ate people while traveling via water. The Aleut legend describes it as being a fish. What are you telling people?
I was saying hi to Mr. Wonderful.
You could say hi in the camera.
I know, but you were reading it. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You can interrupt.
So This is that one video that was taken, and this guy had this long video. I mean, it was actually
It just looks like ice. I'm gonna say that. That's just
but
ice.
in the video, the thing was actually moving like this.
It's just ice.
In the video,
Ice on
ice
current.
doesn't move that.
Ice on a water current. It's a school of fish carrying ice through their water current.
That's what you're going with?
This one I know it is.
I don't know.
Never mind.
Have you ever seen the video?
I have.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything.
It's just a fish.
I think it could be a couple of big fish just swimming close together, right?
Yeah.
Because those fish up there get 5-6 feet long,
Mhm.
right? You got a couple of them kind of swimming, in a convoy. It looked like one fish.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, hi, Mr. Wonderful.
Hey Ed, you getting ready to travel?
I am leaving tomorrow morning, so we're going to be closing this down in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Because
Say your goodbyes. You're never gonna see him again. I'm gonna make sure of it.
I have to pack my crap so I can go home.
What?
That was a thing your pa used to say.
Mm.
Pack your shit, you're going home. To all your mom's friends. Back when she was a teenager. It's been kind of one of those things. So yeah. So I don't know. The lake monster in Alaska is kind of along the lines of Bessie and Champ. And
It's a
all that,
fish.
right? I mean, could it have possibly existed at one point in time? Because
Because it's a fish.
there is historical.
There are fish in that lake.
Yeah, but there is historical sightings of this through the Indian tribes and everything else, right? But
Yes, through the Aleut and the
So, I mean,
Jiggy-Knook.
there's a good chance that it did exist. Still, it's hard to say.
It's a fish.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's pretty much it for the lake and sea monsters.
Is there another slide?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right. Hi guys, we're full screen now.
Yeah, we're together. Look at this handsome. Oh, that's scruffy. You got to shave.
You gotta get your fingers on.
So I have this guy right here for sale. He's 17, almost 18.
I'm being trafficked.
Depending on if you're going to pay for travel or not, we can negotiate the price. Like $1 if you're paying for travel, $5 if you're not.
Only $1.
Well, I liked you until you started running your mouth.
I've always been running.
Once you learn how to be sarcastic, it was time. I've been looking for a buyer for a long time, but as soon as you open your mouth, everybody's like, "Nope, I'm out."
That hurts my feelings.
So yeah, I'm getting ready to go to PowerCon, and
It smells really bad.
yep, I smell really bad. Luke's going to be doing my house sitting for me, so he's going to be living the bachelor life for 5-6 days. Looking forward to meeting a bunch of people down in the Ohio area.
The Ohio area.
Yep.
Are you guys all going out to dinner still?
Oz is supposed to be planning something for Saturday night with me, him, a couple other people. I know Mega J Retro is planning on going. I believe Aaron and Ted from HDT are going to be going for at least a little while. Not sure about Mr. Wonderful. There's a whole herd of us YouTubers and Instagrammers that are going to be at
You
the
consider
PowerCon.
yourself a YouTuber? Are you a YouTuber?
I'm an Instagrammer
You're an Instagrammer. Okay.
with a YouTube channel.
With a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You do it all.
I end up on a lot of streams.
Jack of all
I mean,
trades,
I did.
master of none.
I did stream 6 hours straight with Allison the other night, Saturday
Hi,
night,
Allison.
and Oz and Thanos Copter,
Hi,
and
Thanos Copter. And Oz. Hi, Oz.
I don't know if Oz is here. Who else is on the stream?
I was.
Kayla was. Brick something stopped in. Highly Articulated stopped
Who's
in.
Brick Something? Oh, Brick Something is the actual name, right?
Brick something highly articulated popped in.
It's a lot of people.
Ken from Toy Connection stopped in. Ted Darklaw and Aaron both stopped in individually. Who else stopped in? Emerald Knight Photos. John stopped in.
JFK stopped?
There's a couple other people I think that stopped in. I can't remember who though. But yeah, remember I told you it was like an endless, like a revolving door. One person drop out, more people pop on. It was crazy. So
Yoda. Origami Yoda.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at PowerCon, who's ever going to be there. But I will be leaving tomorrow morning to head to Cleveland. I'm going to stay in Cleveland with a buddy of mine for a couple of days and then drive to PowerCon on Friday. So Next Tuesday will be a PowerCon recap for the live. So I will be making a slideshow with all the pictures I take. I'm going to actually try to keep a very minimal amount put on Instagram over the weekend so I can save them all for the podcast. So Tuesday, make sure you turn in Tuesday. Tell your wife, your cats, your dogs, your friends, your cousins. What else did Jim say?
Golfer.
Goldfish. Yeah, tell your goldfish if they want to see some PowerCon goodness to tune on in, and we're going to be discussing that, discussing who I met, all the groups that we had,
Oh yeah,
all the stuff, right? So definitely tune into that. Luke,
What?
where are you going?
What?
Where are you going?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Where are you going?
Anybody have any final thoughts, final questions? I know we went through the shark or sea monster thing kind of quick, but we didn't want to drag this one out too long because
It was only an hour. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a long time.
So after the PowerCon review, you guys give us some topics. Drop them in the
PowerCon
comments.
sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Rock and roll. Locked, cocked, ready to rock. So after the PowerCon one, we'll have to come up with a topic. But if people in the chat want to shoot us DMs on Instagram or drop us a message here, we will take suggestions. That's what Largo's saying now.
Have fun at PowerCon. Take a lot of pictures.
There will be a lot of pictures next Tuesday, Jim.
Don't throw a party while your dad is gone. You've learned from the 1980s movies. It never goes well. Yeah, I'm not trying to die.
His
His house isn't big enough anyway.
Yeah, it would be no fun here. That's something he can do when his mom's gone because she's got a huge yard. Got uncles that'll buy him beer. All the works, right? So he's actually coming here to get away from all the excitement. So he's going to be chilling. Oh, you want to play music? All right, what song you want to play? All right, didn't know we were that talented, did you guys?
We started a band. It's called
Yep.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Good movie.
Great movie. All right, so
Like Nick Cage.
Yeah. Luke the Lotus on Instagram, Action Figs on Instagram, and on this channel, of course. Anybody that is on Instagram or whatever, I will be posting some pictures from the weekend here on there for the weekend, but I'm going to save a lot of them, like I said, for next Tuesday. So, anything last minute thoughts? And don't forget to send us suggestions. That's one.
If you'd like to see more, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Okay.
Where,
Play us out.
What do I need to do?
You got to play us out. You got to go to. You've done this before.
Where?
It's at the same platform where the intro is.
Where is it?
I tell you, right?
That one right there?
Yeah.
That one?
Yep, that one. You've done this
You want me to
before.
click this one?
Yes.